Good morning, Deb. How are you?
Good, Greg. How are you today?
Great. Very, very warm.
Yeah.
It's been a hot spell here as we are getting ready to record this, and uh, early in the year for this type of weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a great opportunity. I appreciate you taking some time to meet with me and let us get to know you better through this little video so that the people in the Eastern region can get to know you better as one of our new board members. So thank you.
I appreciate this opportunity to serve the Eastern region.
Yeah, great. So tell us a little bit about your let's start with your work background and
Okay.
where you're at.
I spent 32 years at the New England Air Museum, ending my career there as an executive director in actually April 30th was my last day of work. So now I'm in retirement and trying to figure out what to do with myself. But as the executive director there, I had the opportunity to bring the museum up to the forefront as one of the leading museums here in New England. So it was a great opportunity to be able to serve that organization for so many years in so many different capacities. And I'm just praying that the knowledge that I have as an executive director, I can bring to this board of directors and as a representative to ACGC.
That's great, great skills. And what is it about the Air Museum that makes this one special? You say you kind of brought it up.
Well, when I started in 1989 at the Air Museum, we only had one building. So when I left, we had 3 exhibit hangars, we had 2 storage hangars, we had a restoration facility, we had a travel program for members, we have a wonderful restoration department that has restored much of the aircraft in the collection. And I was able to bring docents in on a regular basis to provide services to the visitors. It was an opportunity to help see something, a small organization, grow into what it is today, a national aviation museum.
Wow, that's tremendous. So tell us a little bit about your walk with the Lord and your church involvement.
It's funny, we moved into this house in 1976, and after a couple of years, I decided to go back to work. And ironically enough, the neighbors behind us did daycare, and they were Christians. Many people in the Eastern region know of George and Gloria, Chuck and Gloria Spencer. So besides daycare for our children, they slowly mentored Ellen and myself in the way of the Lord. And I started going to a Bible study there. Growing up as a Catholic, I had a whole different vision of what church was about. But spending Bible time with Chuck and a small group of people, I began to understand the Bible and the reason Jesus is so important in our lives. And through that ministry, I started going to Faith Community Church. And at the time, they were just building their new building. And when the church was dedicated, I believe in 1981, I was one of the first 3 people to be baptized in that church. So that was just a great opportunity to recognize who the Lord is in my life, and began a great church career there. Alan and I served at Faith Community Church until its closing about, I think, 5 years ago now, which is hard to believe. But through my walk with the Lord, through knowing all those people there, through the wonderful teaching of Lou Going in the very beginning, my walk with the Lord just got better and better. It's just amazing how the Lord has worked in Alan and Mai's life through all these years. And it was sad to see that church close, but it was interesting because the small core of people that at the end tried to make it work, we all, I think, grew closer in the Lord in that whole situation.
Mm.
The church is no longer there. There's another church that bought it, and ironically, that church is doing well. And so Alan and I transferred our membership to Westfield Community Church there in Westfield, Massachusetts. I think the best part, I'm going to see one of the focal points of my whole walk with the Lord was going to Israel in 2018. It just opened my eyes to the opportunity. It opened my eyes to Jesus's life, not only Jesus's walk, but the early church. All the different places that we visited opened my eyes and my heart to what the true Bible says. When I came home from that trip, I've been reading the Bible daily, just I'm my third year going through the Bible, and so much has been opened to me, and the Lord has just opened so much to me, and it's just truly a privilege to serve him in this capacity.
Well, yeah. So I was able to work with you in the church, trying to revitalize it, and being involved in the leadership there for a while, and then was able to join you on that trip in 2018. And
Yeah.
I feel like we've gotten to know each other better, and I really appreciate you and Alan, and your love for the church and for that church family.
Mm-hmm.
Been tremendous.
Awesome.
And let's see. Could you name some of the pastors that you had there?
Gosh. Lou Going left, I believe, in 1998 or 99. George Carl was the interim pastor there for a couple of years, kind of on and off for a while. John Tate was there. Jonathan Price was there. Dwight Dean was there. So some great people that I learned a lot from through the years, and I'm just definitely they're a big part of who I've become.
Wow, we've had some
some great
people.
teachings.
Yeah, and guys that are still involved for the most part in ministry across the region. That's great. So you've mentioned Alan, your husband, and he is a great guitar player, by the way.
Yeah.
Led worship there at the when you guys were at the church. And can you tell us a little bit about the rest of your family?
My daughter and family are down in Charlotte. She is the Dean of Student Affairs at UNC Charlotte. They've been down there for over 20 years. My grandson Cooper is going to be a senior in college next year, and their daughter Emma is going into 8th grade. Here in Connecticut, my son Derek and his family bought my father-in-law's house about 6 years ago. And so they're only about 13 miles away from us. Derek and his wife Shannon are 20-year Marine veterans, and they have 2 children, Caitlin and Brady. So we have family nearby, and we have family far away, but we see each other often, and it's truly a blessing. They both have very strong marriages, and I'm just grateful, and I thank the Lord daily for who they are and what they've become. I do continue to pray for their salvation, though. I mean, we take our time sometimes realizing how important God is in our lives, but I continue to pray for them.
Yeah. Wow. So when we were talking one time on the trip to Israel, I'm a history buff, and there may be some others out there, but you told me about a trip that you put together and led with the Band of Brothers trip. Can you just tell us about that? I thought that was so interesting.
One of my jobs through my career at the New England Air Museum was running membership trips. We've been all over the US, we've been to Hawaii, aviation museums. Something I personally always wanted to do was to go to Normandy. So we hired Stephen Ambrose organization and did part of a Band of Brothers trip. We flew to England, did some touring of England, took an overnight ferry to Normandy, and had the opportunity to travel the beaches of Normandy and through Paris and some other parts of England. What was wonderful about this trip was having a historian with us, you know, a historian who actually traveled with some of the members of the Band of Brothers. So he brought this whole tour to, you know, to light, you know, reading actual letters and stories from this whole campaign, for lack of better words. And then about 3 years ago, we had the opportunity of picking up the trip in Belgium and continuing the Band of Brothers trip from Belgium into Germany. So we ended up in Berlin. I think that's one of my highlights of my time at the New England Air Museum, was to be able to travel to all these different places, not only encountering history, but encountering what the military did for the freedom of the United States.
Mm.
And I know we just had D-Day, and, you know, Alan and I have just had the opportunity to go to a lot of the American cemeteries throughout Europe. And it's heartbreaking, but yet it's heartwarming how other countries really grasped what the United States did for them, and they honor them with our dead, you know. So it's been a great opportunity to be able to go and learn more history by walking the actual paths, kind of like being in Israel, you know, walking the paths that Jesus walked and others before him. So it's just history is just really, the Bible is history, you know. So I think that's why you like history so much, because there's so much to it.
Yeah. Oh, neat. So let me close with this. I think leave that door open a little bit, but you were asked to serve as the representative to ACGC from the Eastern region, and I think you're still figuring out what that role is and looks like, and how it functions. But what led you to agree to serve, and what you hope to accomplish?
I was the secretary of the New Life Conference, you know, for 12 years. But even prior to that, when it was still the Connecticut and Western Mass Conference, I was secretary for quite a few years there too. 2 years ago, I stepped down as secretary because my job as executive director took a lot of responsibility, and I couldn't give to the region what I felt, the conference, what I felt it really needed. George Carl called a couple of months ago to ask if I would be part of this. And if you know George Carl, it's hard to say no to George Carl, because, you know, he's just that kind of a person, you know, he's always upbeat. And if, you know, it's hard to say no to George. So I'm not sure what this responsibility will be, but after being on the New Life Conference, being a part of an organization of pastors and people in this organization, in ACGC, in the Eastern region, there's such a heart for serving the Lord, and I want to be a part of that. That's who I'm realizing I want to be, and how to honor God, and this is my way of honoring him. As a representative to the region, I'm not sure what I'm going to take to ACGC, because I'm not sure what that job description entails yet, but I want to be able to represent the region the best I can, and support the region in any way I can by taking, I guess it's almost kind of like, you know, a delegate, you know, to be responsible for who the region is and make sure ACGC understands who the region is and what we represent. So I hope to the best of my ability, I can accomplish those things.
I'm sure you will. And just knowing you even a little bit, I'm excited to have you as part of the team, and knowing that you're going to bring some great things to to the table, so to speak. And so I'm looking forward to working with you both here and in Charlotte. So
Yeah.
that's great. Well, I hope that people will get to know you better in the days to come as we interact at regional meetings and other opportunities. And I just pray that the Lord will bless you for your investment of time and energies in this way. And we just want to thank you so much for your heart. It really shows how much you love the Lord and want to see the church advanced and the Lord, proclaimed as the Savior of all men. So it's a great thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing with us.
All right. Thank you, George. God bless.
Yeah.